So, the Stanley Cup Finals are set. It is going to be the Florida Panthers against the Edmonton Oilers. You can see the rest of the bracket over here. Edmonton had to defeat some pretty notable names in the Kings, the Canucks, and the Stars to get to this point. Meanwhile, the Florida Panthers had themselves a run which bested out their divisional state rivals in the Tampa Bay Lightning, then the Boston Bruins, and then the New York Rangers. This is what we're dealing with, but because we have ourselves now this matchup confirmed, what I wanted to do was go out there and talk about some of the trades that have also been finalized as a result of this Stanley Cup final. In particular, trades involving both the New York Rangers and the Dallas Stars. So, let's go over in chronological order onto Cap Friendly's Twitter account and talk about, firstly, this draft condition update from 2 days ago. Take a look at this tweet. The 2026 fourth-round pick that the New York Rangers sent to the Columbus Blue Jackets in the Jack Roslovic trade will not upgrade to a 2026 third-round pick. This is because the trade, which saw Roslovic at $2 million, 50% salary retained, get sent over to New York, saw the Blue Jackets getting a fourth-round pick in exchange, 2026 fourth-round pick at that, and it was conditional. It upgrades to a 2026 third-round pick if the Rangers made it to the Stanley Cup Finals, and if Roslovic played in 50% of the playoff games. Now, before we go out there and read some of the replies over here, let's talk about Jack Roslovic for a second, because man oh man, was this guy a notable name for New York, and not in a good way. Roslovic, 27 years old, 6'1", 194 right-handed guy, was a first-line player for this Rangers team at certain parts during this playoff run. He was playing with Zibanejad and Kreider. It was interesting to see him mesh on that line. He had 8 points in 19 games in the regular season and 8 points in 16 games in the playoffs. Admittedly, the point production is not the worst thing in the world, especially for a guy that you traded only a fourth-round pick to get. But Jack Roslovic was a guy who has seen better days. At one point in his career, 2020-2021, he was seen as the most productive asset that came out of the Patrick Laine-Pierre-Luc Dubois trade. Remember, he was only traded to Columbus because he was a part of that deal, and he was really good to kick things off. The next few seasons, though, saw him not really be as impressive point-per-game-wise, but still go out there and produce some points. And then this previous, just completed season, he had 23 points in 40 games played with the Blue Jackets before getting sent over to New York. The thing is, though, when a lot of Rangers fans think of Roslovic at this time, they're not going to think about the really good player that existed in Columbus 5 years ago. They're going to think about the open nets. They're going to think about the missed chances. They're going to think about how he was demoted to the fourth line before the end of their playoff run. This was a guy who was pretty much equated to a fourth-round pick valued asset by the time the playoffs was said and done for the Rangers, and a lot of these replies go out there and say it's so. Reinbacher made more of an impact in his 3 minutes of ice time per game than that dude made in 3 rounds. Boy, does he suck. Thank goodness the dude wasn't worth a bag of pucks. And yeah, what a terrible trade that was. Instead of getting grit, Drury gets a soft winger who was ineffective all playoffs. What a waste. Can we get a refund? And yeah, you know, it wasn't really a good run for Jack Roslovic, but you live and you learn, right? You make these decisions, you make these trades, and you see what else you can do. Who knows, man? The Rangers are in a tough spot with all these core guys not really showing up in the finals, or not the finals, the Eastern Conference Finals, and the captain Jacob Trouba being put in a very tough spot. Now, you think about it and it's like, okay, well, if you don't bring back Roslovic because his contract is expiring as an unrestricted free agent, then what else do you use that money on? Because this dude just did not cut it, unfortunately speaking. Also, if you wanted to talk about the other condition here, it was a third-round pick if the Rangers made it to the finals, and Roslovic played in 50% of the playoff games. He had no issues with that. He had 16 games played, so you talk about it here, yeah, he played pretty much every game for the New York Rangers in the 2024 Stanley Cup Playoffs. It's just the Rangers didn't advance far enough, so that pick to Columbus stays as a fourth. But that's not the only trade that has been finalized as a result of our Stanley Cup final matchup. If we go over to this other cap-friendly tweet, take a look at this. Draft condition update. The Dallas Stars will not send their 2026 third-round pick to Calgary as a part of the Chris Tanev trade. Because if you go over to this trade, which was made back in February, the Calgary Flames acquired Artem Grushnikov from the Dallas Stars, a 2024 second from Dallas, and a 2026 third-round conditional pick. The condition was the pick would only be transferred if Dallas advanced to the 2024 Stanley Cup Finals. Other than that, you saw the Stars get themselves Tanev and Cole Brady, and the New Jersey Devils act as the mediator in this trade, retaining 50% of Tanev's salary so that Dallas could get him at only 25% of his total cap. The Devils were receiving a 2026 fourth from Dallas to make that all happen. But for the Calgary Flames, the pick only got transferred, the 2026 third-round pick, that is, if Dallas made the finals, and of course they did not end up doing that. Honestly, though, the Chris Tanev acquisition was a really good one. He was such a beast for Dallas in this playoff run, shutting down the likes of Nathan MacKinnon, shutting down the likes of Jack Eichel. We thought there could be a possibility he does the same thing to McDavid, but unfortunately that did not end up happening. McDavid walked around everybody in this series, especially in the final game. But Tanman, 34 years old, 6'2", right-handed guy, 196 pounds. He is a UFA now. His contract just expired. And he had 2 points in 19 games in the playoffs for the Dallas Stars. That is not great, of course, but you recognize that Chris Tanev's value is so much beyond regular old point production. These numbers, they don't matter when you talk about the value that Chris Tanev brings to a hockey team. And we literally made a video all about this a few days ago. I mean, if we scroll down here, where is it? Chris Tanev, it's a green thumbnail, it's too far down, there you go. Chris Tanev is officially a problem. He shut down Jack Eichel and Nathan MacKinnon. The comment section of this video was filled with Dallas Stars fans saying, yeah, this guy might be the best trade deadline acquisition the Dallas Stars have made ever. He's been that good, and even as a guy who isn't technically the best defenseman on the team, of course Miro Heiskanen does exist, Tanev has been such a force defensively, so competent, so good at blocking shots and reading the play, that seeing him have this type of an impact definitely raised his stock in the free agent market. Who cares if he's 34 years old? The guy can still move, the guy still sacrifices his body, the guy still is a defensive monster. And for the Calgary Flames, it's unfortunate for them, but they are not getting themselves another pick in exchange for Tanev. I mean, Artem Grushnikov in a second already is fine, but you probably would have preferred to have another pick, even if it is in 2026. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about all this stuff about the Edmonton Oilers and the Florida Panthers finals matchup, indicating the newest results in these trades. We also had this tweet that Cap Friendly had with the Oilers moving on to the Stanley Cup Finals. Forward Corey Perry has now earned himself another $50,000 performance bonus. This raises Edmonton's bonus overage penalty for the 24-25 season to $3,550,000. We can make another video about this in itself, but essentially the Oilers are going to have a bit more of a penalty because they're paying too many guys on bonuses. I mean, for a bonus like this, it's totally fine. I feel like the Oilers would take this any day of the week. Hey, Corey Perry's getting a bonus that gets you more penalties, but it's because he went to the finals. Yeah, it's okay. We went to the finals. Let's live with that. We're okay with it. So, Edmonton, Florida, this is going to be our finals matchup, and we did have 2 trades as a result of this matchup be confirmed. Thoughts in the comment section below about the Jack Roslovic trade from Columbus over to New York. Let me know your thoughts as well as to the Chris Tanev trade from Calgary to New Jersey, eventually to Dallas, with salary retained double time both times, and Dallas not sending over another draft pick because they did not make the finals. What are your thoughts on these two guys, and Roslovic and Tanev, as they head over to UFA status, and who do you think they are going to sign with? What are their dollar amounts? Whose values went up and whose values went down? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. 99, and bye.